Also developing tonight, new fallout for Wendy Davis, the Democratic Party star and Texas gubernatorial hopeful, doing some damage control, sort of, after news surfaced earlier this week that her rags to riches story wasn't true entirely. Davis says her Republican opponent, Greg Abbott, is behind the, quote, attacks and has now launched her own assault, saying, quote, I am proud of where I came from, and I am proud of what I've been able to achieve through hard work and perseverance. And I guarantee you that anyone who tries to say otherwise hasn't walked a day in my shoes. Ms. Davis now taking heat for that statement because her opponent, Greg Abbott, is and has been for the better part of the past 2 or 3 decades confined to a wheelchair. Dana Lash is a conservative radio talk show host and a contributor at theblaze.com. Dana, I mean, I don't know if she just stepped in it there, but the point is, of course she knows that Greg Abbott is wheelchair bound. But even the suggestion that he doesn't understand struggle and the attacks on him for calling her out on what she admits are misstatements has struck an interesting chord today in the media coverage.
Yeah, Megan, her doubling down on this has confused me, and I think everybody else so greatly. I mean, first off, for her to say something like that, I think Jeff Davis, her ex-husband, needs to question how far his money at Harvard went, because you think that a candidate would more carefully choose their words. But Wayne Slater, who wrote this article for the Dallas Morning News, said that he had never talked to anybody in Abbott's campaign, and it's not Greg Abbott who's criticizing Wendy Davis. It's people like me. She's my senator now. I've been in Texas for a month. Wendy Davis is my Texas state senator, and I just find it really odd that she claims that if you're criticizing her, you don't understand the struggle. I think Greg Abbott kind of understands the struggle because, Megan, as you mentioned, he's been in a wheelchair for 30 years. But she said in the article, and she's admitted in other interviews, that she realizes her language could have been tighter, which I have no idea what legalese or phrase that even is. And then she comes back, doubles down on it, doubles back up on it, and says that, well, you know, if you're criticizing me, you're sexist, you don't understand my struggle, you haven't walked a day in my shoes. Well, of course, Greg Abbott hasn't. He's on wheels. Yeah. It just seems that she should probably be more careful with her words.
Yeah, just the day after she said she was going to be more careful. Let me just give the viewers a sense of what she's saying. She says, no false attack can take away my story, and neither can any sleazy political trick. She says, Greg Abbott's desperate attacks proves that he doesn't understand these Texas stories about struggle. And she says, you're damn right, it's a true story, what I've told. But the thing is, Dana, it is not true. The bulk of it is true, but she got caught misleading about, you know, yes, when she got a divorce and how long she lived in a trailer park. And the main one is whether she really did, in fact, put herself through school, which now we find out it was her now ex-husband who put her through the last 2 years of undergraduate and Harvard Law School. And he testified that it was the day after he made the final school loan payment that she left him.
Exactly, and she didn't even have custody of her children. In fact, Jeff Davis said in another article that she told him, and he quoted her as saying, it's not a good time for me right now. I mean, was she just struggling as a single parent in Boston going to Harvard? The real story of single parenthood here, Megan, is Jeff Davis. Jeff Davis is a better single mother than Wendy Davis apparently is. He's a great single father, and single fathers don't get enough credit, and that's the single parenthood that should be celebrated in this story. I mean, she wants to say that her story is unique, or not unique, rather. It really actually is quite unique. My mother was a single mother. My mother raised me for the better part of over a decade, and my mother would have loved to have had a Harvard education. She would have loved to have all that. So it is very unique to Wendy Davis.
Well, we'll see how she manages to get herself out of this trouble now, if at all. In fact, coming up, and Dana, my thanks to you, coming up for our viewers, we're going to speak with former special counsel to Bill Clinton, Lanny Davis. And he's going to explain how she got herself into so much trouble. He has literally written the book on crisis management and does not agree with how Ms. Davis has gone about this.